Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Sports and Stuff podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Henson, and this is a big day because it is the first episode of the Sports and Stuff podcast, and we are going to be talking about week one of the NFL that just wrapped up yesterday with the Ravens and the Raiders game that happened last night, Monday Night Football. Also on the podcast, not today, but in the future, we'll talk about all things sports, NFL football, college football, NBA, NCAA basketball, baseball, golf, professional wrestling. I'll talk about a lot. So, yeah, got a lot of things to talk about. This podcast will go up both in audio form on podcast platforms and in video form on my YouTube channel, CH Gaming on YouTube. Go ahead and check it out. I got some videos on there. The podcast will also be up there. So yeah, go ahead and check that out. That'd be super awesome. I would love to build a community around that. But I'm not going to do any more talking. Let's get into this. We're going to be talking about week one, the NFL, final scores, matchups, stat leaders. There were some pretty unexpected things that happened, I guess. Namely of which being this first game, this Thursday night football game. Cowboys-Bucks, opening night of the NFL season. Buccaneers beat the Cowboys, but only by 2. Cowboys shocking everyone, I think, here with how well they played in this game. Let me mute this ad so it doesn't bother anybody. But yeah, 31-29, final score. I got all the drives here. Here's stats. Here we go. So, biggest thing, I think, for me that surprised me was how Dak Prescott played. Now, we all knew Dak coming back from injury, not sure how he's going to look, how he's going to do overall, but came back 42 of 58, 403 yards passing, 3 touchdowns and an interception. That's very, very, very good. Dak, looking back to, first couple years, looking really good to form. Now, I know, it's only the first game. We don't know where he's going to end up, don't know how he's going to look in the future. But if those are any indicators and he stays healthy, this could be a really good season, not just for him, but for the Cowboys in general. Cowboys are a very good team, especially their offense. You've got Dak, QB, you've got Zeke Elliott, running back, you've got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz. So you've got all these players making the offense just look super strong. But yeah, Dak, 403 yards passing. Amari Cooper showed out, 139 receiving yards, 13 receptions, 2 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb also had 104 yards and a touchdown. So that is amazing. Great start for them. Let's go with the Buccaneers. Tom Brady. No, Tom Brady's Tom Brady. 379 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He looked good, as everyone knew he would. Antonio Brown looking really good. 121 receiving yards and a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 105 yards and a touchdown. Gronk, of course, 90 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Gronk's going to be the number 1 red zone target for Tom Brady, I can see coming, in the future. So, yeah, all in all, that's all I really want to touch on for this game. So, next week, though, who do the Cowboys have next week? I don't know who the Cowboys have next week. But we're going to find out who the Cowboys play next week. So next week is Cowboys play the Chargers. Okay. So, predictions for that game, I don't really know what to think. If Herbert shows up well for the Chargers, okay, predicted score by, Vegas odds has Chargers beating the Cowboys by 3. I could see that. I could really see the Cowboys winning that. The Chargers winning that. I could also see the Cowboys winning that. This could go, it's a toss-up game. Both teams are good. I think the Chargers will win, though, because the Cowboys had to play their heart out against the Buccaneers and still lost. So, overall, I think Chargers will pull that off. Could be closer than 3 points, but 3 points is a good prediction. So we'll see what happens there. The Bucks next week. That's also what I want to see. Will Brady start out 2-0, as usually probably does? Yes, they play the Falcons. That's a win at home. Play the Falcons at home. I'm not even going to touch any more on that game. Bucks win at home against the Falcons. Okay. Let's go back to week 1 here and start looking at the Sunday games. So we had Jaguars Texans. This game surprised me, especially the outcome of this one, because you got the Texans who nobody thought would be good. Honestly, like, Texans are supposed to be. I mean, these are two teams that were predicted to be the worst in the NFL. So you never know how it's going to go. But I thought Trevor Lawrence would show up more for the Jaguars and help them win this game. But that didn't happen. So, Trevor Lawrence, he still played a pretty decent game. 332 yards passing, 3 touchdowns with 3 interceptions at the same time. So 3-3, not the best look. I think the biggest issue here is that he just has nothing around him. He has nothing around him. He doesn't have a great receiving core. He does have DJ Clark and Marvin Jones, but that's about it. The Jaguars just don't have enough pieces around Trevor Lawrence to make them better. Trevor's good, and he can do a lot for this team. But he's only at most going to get maybe 4 or 5 wins this season at best. But even then, especially looking at how badly they played against the Texans, that's debatable in itself. So I'd love to see Trevor Lawrence do good. It was his first loss this game since high school, actually. Wow. That's crazy to think about how well Trevor Lawrence did at Clemson. But yeah, the Texans, Tyrod Taylor, under center, 291 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Very, very solid game for him. Tyrod Taylor also had 4 rushes for 40 yards. Mark Ingram had a rushing touchdown. Danny Amendola caught a touchdown pass. David Johnson caught a touchdown pass. Brandon Cooks, no touchdowns, but 5 receptions, 132 yards. That's very, very good. 132 yards receiving, lots of fantasy points for Brandon Cooks. How many fantasy points did he get this week? I wonder if I can see that. I can't. Yeah, I can. Let's see if I can find that here. No, I can't. The average, that's 26 yards per reception average. That's very, very good. I would not have expected that out of week 1, but it's Brandon Cooks, so, you always expect good things from him, but it was more of how would Tyrod Taylor do, especially with Deshaun Watson being out. So, yeah, that is Texans-Jaguars game. Not looking good, not a good outlook for the Jaguars going forward. Now, what was the next game on the docket? Oh, yeah. Chargers and the Washington football team. They're the Redskins. I will never want to call them a football team, but I will for the sake of not getting my podcast taken down. Let's see. Chargers won this one, but this was a very good game. Washington showed out pretty well. Unfortunately, Ryan Fitzpatrick did go down early with a big injury, so we're hoping that's not too serious. I haven't seen updates on that yet. If they're out there, I'm sorry I haven't seen them yet. But Tyler Heineke did pretty well. 122 yards passing and a touchdown. Antonio Gibson rushed decently. But Washington's going to be dangerous, with Terry McLaurin receiving and, on defense, they've got, Kendall Fuller, Montez Sweat, Chase Young. They got one of the best D-lines in the league, so I could see that going very well for them. I think Washington will be, they're a middle-of-the-road team, like 7-8 wins maybe, second or third in the division. Chargers, I see doing really well this year. Justin Herbert, 337 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Eckler rushed for a touchdown. And then Keenan Allen, 100 yards receiving. Mike Williams got a touchdown catch. So Chargers are also middle of the road, leaning towards a playoff berth. So I see maybe 10, 11 wins for the Chargers. I'd love to see them do more. But I think 10, 11 wins is a good, solid prediction for me, especially watching this performance against Washington. Moving on to the next game I want to talk about is Seahawks Colts. Oh, Seahawks Colts. I'm wearing a Colts jersey, as you can see. I really don't want to talk about this game because this was a trash show by the Indianapolis Colts. Russell Wilson, 254 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Wow, that's terrible. Terrible. Tyler Lockett lit us up. 100 yards receiving on 4 receptions. That's 25 yards per reception, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf had a touchdown as well. Joe Everett had a touchdown. The Colts, oh my gosh, what even are the Colts right now? Carson Wentz. Why? Just why? I have a lot of friends that think, Carson Wentz is good. He'll do really well. I would love to see it, but I have no faith in Carson Wentz. He's been injured. He's played terribly. So I'll need to see it to believe it from Carson Wentz. Um, when we have backups like Sam Ellinger and Jacob Eason, that's hard to say. Like, why are we not playing them or investing in them? Yes, I get it. Sam Ellinger is small, but Jacob Eason's good. He did great at Georgia. Georgia, I think it was. Don't correct me. I might be wrong there. I think it was Georgia because I love Georgia football, college football. That's a whole other story. But Wentz did have 251 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that being said, it's still not great. It's also not good that Jonathan Taylor led rushing and receiving yards. That's really bad. Zach Pascal had 2 touchdowns, which is very good. The only 2 touchdowns we scored. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about this. I watched a little bit of the Colts game, and we are just a meme, and it's terrible. Like, once again, we're back to having a not very good O-line, because of course we never have, and Wentz is going to be the new Andrew Luck at this rate. You know, Luck was always scrambling from under center because his offensive line could not protect him. He was injured, and that's why he retired early. And I feared the same for Wentz. Wentz is also more prone to injury than Andrew Luck was. Andrew Luck had a lot of injuries. So I'm scared, and I'm wondering how many weeks it'll take for us to get a rookie quarterback in, because I don't think Wentz will be in there much longer because he'll either get injured or just be awful. That's my prediction. Colts are definitely not winning the division this year unless we really pick up the pace and do much better. So I'll be interested to see what happens with that. I don't like talking about my team. It's not fun when your team sucks. You know they're going to suck. It's fine. We're not going to worry about that. Jets, Panthers. Wow. Yeah. The Panthers only got a win because they played the Jets. Week 1. And the Jets, the Jets had their rookie quarterback. I'm not going to get quarterback stats here. Okay. The Jets are not showing any passing. The Jets are not showing passing stats. Zach Wilson did so bad. The Jets will not even show passing stats for Zach Wilson. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Yeah, Zach Wilson sucked. It was bad. Panthers. Sam Darnold looked good. Former Jets quarterback Sam Darnold, 279 yards and a touchdown, 24-35. That's awkward. McCaffrey, 98 yards rushing, also 89 yards receiving, so McCaffrey popped off. DJ Moore looked good. Robbie Anderson had a touchdown. Gonna see Jets passing now? No? Okay. I'm actually curious now because I want to see how the Jets did in passing. So we're gonna go quick to ESPN here and pull up the NFL scores, and I want to see what Zach Wilson's stats were, because I'm very interested. Here we go. Zach Wilson. 20 of 37, 258 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and an interception. So not as bad as I thought, but I mean, 20 of 37 compared to 24 of 35 is a pretty big difference. QBR of 28.7 versus 47.1. And was sacked 6 times? 651. I don't know how the sack stats work there. But he only averaged 7 yards per pass. Sam Darnold averaged 8. So, not a great showing for Zach Wilson to start out. But, hey, it's the Jets. Jets fans, you're getting maybe 3 wins. That's my prediction. You're getting 3 wins at most. I'm being generous there. I can see you guys being a 0-win team. But I have faith that Zach Wilson will give you 3 wins. If you do more, great. If you do less, can't say I didn't see it coming. Sorry, Jets fans. Love you guys. Hang in there. It's not fun. Bengals Vikings. Overtime game. This was a fun game to watch and follow. I have NFL Red Zone, so I was able to watch most of these games on Sunday. But Kirk Cousins for the Vikings looked good. 351 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dalvin Cook with a touchdown. Adam Thielen, 2 touchdowns, 92 yards receiving. If you had Thielen on your fantasy team, props to you because he looked great in this game. I thought the Vikings were going to win this. I did not expect the Bengals to as well as they did. Joe Burrow looked great. 261 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. And Jamar Chase. Bengals fans, you complained about drafting Jamar Chase. Look at this. 101 yards receiving and a touchdown for his first game. So I don't want to hear any of you all complaining about Jamar Chase. He looks great. And I can see he's going to be Burrow's number one target. I can see that coming now from a mile away. Joe Mixon looked good. 127 rushing yards and a touchdown. So that's awesome. Team stats. Can I get team stats, please? No? Okay, that's fine. Nope. What did I do? I love hitting the wrong button. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's my first podcast. I'm not going to edit this out. We're going straight through, boys. Justin Jefferson had one passing play for 11 yards. That's awesome. That's super cool. How the Vikings lost that game, I don't know. I think they just kind of gave it up. I don't know. I barely saw the end. I had Justin Jefferson on my fantasy team, so I wish he had done a little bit better. But the passing play is awesome. 71 yards receiving. Still not terrible. You know, that's respectable for week one. This is a fun game. Vikings, I still see as a middle of the road, 9-10 win team. Bengals looked better. Bengals looked a lot better, so who knows what to see from them. I still don't see them beyond 7-8 wins, but if they do better than that, which they looked like they can, I'd love to see it. Bengals haven't been good in a while, so I'd love to see them do better. Cardinals Titans. Oh my gosh. Where to start with this game? I don't think anybody thought the Titans were going to get this badly beat up by Kyler Murray. Okay? Kyler Murray had 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. He had 5 touchdowns. Like, Kyler Murray is player of the week right here. Okay? That's player of the week type stats. Yes, he had an interception. We don't care about that 5 touchdowns and interception. Nobody cares about the interception at that point. 38-13. 38-13 to the Titans, guys. I did not see the Cardinals doing this week one. Hopkins had 2 touchdowns. Kirk had 2 touchdowns. Rondale Moore, my boy from Purdue, 4 receptions, 68 yards. That's awesome. Can't wait to see him start racking up those stats. Titans, oh my gosh, where to start? Derrick Henry only had 58 rushing yards and no touchdowns. Derrick Henry had 58 rushing yards and no touchdowns. Think about that. Tannehill, 212 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I did not expect the Titans to look this bad. I still think they're still the best team in the division, which is really sad at this point, because the Texans are leading the division right now. The Texans are leading the AFC South. That's sad. That's just sad. A.J. Brown had a touchdown. No receiver had over 62 yards receiving. They shut us down. They shut the Titans down. Arizona did. Yeah, Arizona looking much better than I thought they were going to. Playoff contender? We'll see. I think they could be a playoff contender. Titans, like I said, still think they'll win the division. But, after that performance, it looks a little more wide open than I thought it was going to be in the AFC South. Like I said, the Texans are leading the division after 1 week. No one saw that coming. I guarantee it. Okay. 49ers Lions. 49ers almost threw this game away. They were up. Let me do math here. They were up 38-17. They were up 21 points going into the fourth quarter. And they got outscored 16-3. That's a little bit closer for comfort than I would like. Than I'm sure the 49ers would like. Garoppolo didn't look too bad. 314 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Eli Mitchell had a touchdown. Mostert didn't get a lot of playing time there. Deebo Samuel had 189 yards receiving and a touchdown. That's really good. Deebo Samuel is really good. But Jared Goff, I think that's the story of this game, if anything. Jared Goff, 338 yards, passing yards, 3 touchdowns and interception. That's very good. Very good game. Jamal Williams had a touchdown. DeAndre Swift, Hawkinson both had touchdowns. I'm an MMG guy, okay? I like to watch MMG a lot. He's a Lions fan, and he's gotten me to not necessarily be a fan of the Lions, but notice them more. Hawkinson and Swift, I'm huge fans of those two. I have Hawkinson on my fantasy team on my bench right now. I'd love to pick up DeAndre Swift. He's so good. I don't have enough faith in Jared Goff to pick him up because I have Josh Allen, so I'm gonna keep him. But yeah, Hawkinson's gonna show out this year. Swift's gonna show out this year. it's going to be interesting to watch. 49ers, playoff team, Lions, not quite. Lions are still not quite there yet. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 and 10 wins, maybe. I'm going to go bold there. 6 and 10 wins, I think they could do. Beyond that, not much. Steelers, Bills. This game really disappointed me for being a Bills fan. Okay? I'm not necessarily a Bills fan, but I have Josh Allen. I want to see him do well. But neither quarterback had much to say in this game. Big Ben, only 188 passing yards and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson got a touchdown. Steelers got a fumble. There were, let's see, I don't know how many full-on turnovers there were in that game. I want to look. Bear with me, please. I know this doesn't make for good podcast, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's my first time doing this, so y'all can deal with it. Okay, back to the box score of this Steelers-Bills game for now. So Bills had 4 fumbles. Only 1 loss, though. Only had 1 turnover, but 4 fumbles. That's what killed them. That's what killed them there. Interceptions. No interceptions for either team. I don't know if the Steelers had defensive touchdown or not. Isaiah McKenzie did great for kick returns, 143 yards collectively over 4 returns. That's pretty good, actually. That's well outside the 25-yard line for each play. And, yeah, I would have liked to see the Bills do better in that game, but hey, what are you going to do? Josh Allen still got a decent amount of points, 270 passing yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. That helped a lot. Singletary, 11 carries for 72 yards, isn't great. Josh Allen scrambled well. Diggs, Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Dawson Knox. That's a very, very good, I think underrated receiving core even. You know, Diggs is good. People don't think about Beasley or Sanders much. Diggs is one of the best receivers in the league. Beasley and Sanders and Knox. Like I said, I don't think people give them enough credit. They're going to be great. Gabriel Davis had the only touchdown, so that's awesome. Yeah, Bills are still a playoff team. Super Bowl contender, the Bills are. You know, it's week 1. I'm not super worried about them. Steelers, though, I don't know where they're going to fall now. I don't know where the Steelers are going to go now. Because they could be anywhere from, 7 or 8 wins to 12, 13, 14 wins. It's the Steelers. You never know what you're going to get with them. Eagles, Falcons, I don't think anybody saw a different outcome than the Eagles winning this game. Falcons are just trash. They're just trash. Jalen Hurts looked great. 3 touchdowns, 264 yards passing. Devontae Smith, Jalen Reagor, and Dallas Goedert all had touchdowns. Matty Ice, 164 yards passing, no touchdowns. Just defensive shutdown by the Eagles there. I'm not going to stay on this game much any longer. Eagles won. Eagles looking good. Division winner, most likely. Them or the Cowboys. Or it's them, the Cowboys, or the Washington football team. Giants are not in it. And I'll get to the Giants later. Now, contender for game of the week right here. Chiefs-Browns. This was a big week 1 game to start out with. And boy, did they show out for this one. The funny thing is Baker Mayfield didn't look great. 321 yards passing, which is really good, especially on 21 of 28 completion and attempts. 1 interception, though, no touchdowns. So, good, but also not good. No touchdowns, but 321 yards is also very good. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt both looked very good. 3 touchdowns among them. Jarvis Landry had a rushing touchdown, so no receiving touchdowns in that game, which is weird. I don't know how the Browns stayed in that game with stats like that. Their rushing game's really good. Mahomes is Mahomes. 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. Easy. Looked good. Mahomes with a rushing touchdown. Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill popped off. 197 yards receiving and a touchdown. Kelsey had 2 touchdowns. I have Tyreek on my fantasy team, so I was so stoked to see him do well. I do have Clyde Edwards-Helaire on my fantasy team as well. I would have liked to see him do better. But, Chiefs are the Chiefs. They continue with the wins. Kansas City, AFC Championship, again, easily. Them and the Bills, I'm guessing, is what's going to be the AFC Championship again. Going to be a great game. Oh, this is going to be fun to talk about. Saints-Packers. Saints-Packers. I have been waiting to talk about this game. Let's talk about Jameis Winston. Oh my gosh. So Jameis Winston only had 148 passing yards. But he had 5 touchdown passes in that. So let's just talk about how Jameis Winston is also a contender for Player of the Week. That's just insane. Kamara had 83 rushing yards. Juwan Johnson, 2 receiving touchdowns. Deontay Harris, Kamara. Yeah. I don't think anybody saw this coming. I don't think anybody saw the Saints winning this game, much less destroying the Packers. Like, look at this for the Packers. Jordan Love got snaps in this game. The Packers gave up and put Jordan Love in after Rodgers had 133 passing yards and 2 interceptions. If you guys don't really know what's going on, let me get you in on this. Aaron Rodgers does not want to be there in Green Bay. Does not want to play. You can tell he's checked out. He's done. He's gone. I'm interested to see when they trade him or if he decides to play at all. So yeah, it was a glorious shit show. And yeah. Yeah. Saints looking good, but they played a checked out Packers team. So yeah, I don't really know what you can say about that. Saints, with Winston, I don't know how far they're going to go. I'm going to say middle of the road, maybe a playoff team. But they're coming off of the Drew Brees era, so I don't know where they're going to end up, but we'll see. I'm going to go bold, say playoff team for Saints. That's bold, I know. But we're going to go with it. Broncos, Giants. I don't know hardly anything about these teams at all. Who's even the quarterback for the Broncos? Teddy Bridgewater. Not too bad. Not too bad on stats. 264 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Melvin Gordon had 101 rushing yards and a touchdown. I don't know enough about either of these teams, nor do I care enough about either of these teams. Saquon only had 26 rushing yards on 10 carries. So not very good there. I am interested to see how Saquon and Kenny Golladay do for the Giants. Because Golladay is a stud. He did great for the Lions. I'd love to see how he does for the Giants. Golladay, me referencing MMG again now because I just know Lions players because I watch him. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Daniel Jones, fine. 267 yards passing, a touchdown. Nothing to be ashamed of there. Bridgewater also 264 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, nothing to be ashamed of. Broncos win. I don't think either of these are playoff teams, in my opinion. I just don't. They're not good enough. Dolphins, Patriots. We're going to talk about next. Dolphins, I think, are a playoff team. I think they have the ability to become a playoff team. Maybe. I don't know. It depends where everything else falls. Patriots are definitely not a playoff team. I don't think they have enough pieces to get there. I mean, Mac Jones will be good. He's under Belichick, so he'll be good. 281 yards passing and a touchdown. Again, good start. Very solid first game. But, I don't see either of these teams making the playoffs. If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the Dolphins over the Patriots to make the playoffs. Even though Belichick has more experience on how to get a team to the playoffs, I still think the Dolphins are just better. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But yeah, they got Devontae Parker, Jalen Waddle, and Tua. Yeah. Solid game, 17-16, Dolphins win. Moving on. Bears-Rams, Sunday Night Football. This went about as anybody expected. Rams won big. Bears decided to be stupid, and, we're going to start Andy Dalton. Why? Why would you have Justin Fields? Why would you start Andy Dalton? He had 206 yards passing and an interception. That's it. They put Justin Fields in for 2 snaps. There's a reason you lost, because you don't know how to play your quarterbacks. You just suffered through the entire Trubisky era, and now you have Justin Fields, and you're like, no, we're going to play Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton came from the Bengals, and we saw how that franchise turned out while he was there. Couple playoff berths, but never a playoff win. Yeah, that's a rethink who you have starting a quarterback performance. Stafford, 321 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 20 for 26. A great game for Stafford. Cooper Kupp had a touchdown. Van Jefferson had a touchdown. Robert Woods had a touchdown. Like, this is how good the Rams are. So Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, and Robert Woods all had more receiving yards, and they have Deshaun Jackson on this team. I mean, yes, Deshaun Jackson's getting older, he's getting up there, but if you have somebody with that big of a name and he only had 21 receiving yards, they've got a lot of threat. They've got a lot of targets on offense, and their defense is stacked as usual. You've got arguably the best corner in the league, Jalen Ramsey. You've got Aaron Donald on that team. Rams are a Super Bowl contender by far. I could see them getting to the Super Bowl. I really could. I think it will probably end up being them and the Bucks in the NFC Championship, if I had to guess. But, I mean, Packers could also work their way back up there if Aaron Rodgers decides to show up. Who else? I don't really know who else could get there, realistically. It's hard to think about. I don't know why I clicked on this Seahawks Colts game. Let's talk about the Monday Night Football game, and then we'll talk about going forward with, playoff outlook and overall stats for this week. If this doesn't stop being stupid, I swear I'm going to kill someone. Okay. Now. Ravens, Raiders, Monday Night Football. This was an exciting game. I didn't have the opportunity to watch it, but I saw a bunch of highlights from this, heard about it. The Ravens were supposed to be a good team this year. Problem is they've sustained way too many injuries. They got, Marcus Peters is out. Both their star running backs out. So they're going to struggle this year. I think they've gone from a definite playoff team and maybe a Super Bowl contender to middle of the pack, maybe a playoff team. Like, I think they're somewhere in the ballpark of 8 to 11 wins at most, I think, with how the team's looking right now. If people heal quickly, then maybe. But I don't think Lamar cannot carry this team by himself, especially without running backs. Raiders have Darren Waller. I had Darren Waller on my fantasy team, and actually, I want to talk about this. I won my fantasy game, came back and won by less than a point. Like, I won by 0.9 points. It's because Darren Waller showed out and had a great game for the Raiders, which is exactly what we wanted. Darren Waller looks great. Josh Jacobs, 2 rushing touchdowns. Derek Carr, 435 passing yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception. Like, I don't like Derek Carr, but he played a great game. He played a great game of football. He has a good team around him. I still don't know if the Raiders are a playoff team. I could see them making the playoffs. A lot of people don't. So I hope they make the playoffs. I would like to see them prove people wrong. But all in all, I don't think I could see both of these teams missing the playoffs at this stage. I don't know what's going to come, but I can see both these teams missing the playoffs. So, that being said, let's talk about next week. Week 2. Who we got playing next week. We've touched on a couple of the games already, but I'm just going to run through the slate really quickly, and we're going to talk about that. So, Thursday Night Football, Giants and Washington Football Team. Washington Football Team takes the win at home pretty easily. Moving on from that. Patriots, Jets. Patriots. I think Patriots win that one. I mean, it's the Jets. They're not going to win. Since they're at home, maybe if Zach Wilson has a good game, I think Patriots will go in and win that one, though. Broncos, Jaguars. I got to go Broncos. I don't think the Jaguars are going to win that one. It's their first home game, so maybe. Bills, Dolphins. Bills coming off of a tough loss. I think they're going to go into Miami and win this one big. 49ers, Eagles. Flip a coin. 49ers. I know 49ers here. Eagles. I think it's going to be a good game. Be a close game. 49ers going to take the dub. Rams, Colts. Yeah. I thought maybe being at home might help the Colts. Might help my Colts, but no. Rams winning this one easily. I think they're going to win big, actually. Clap the Colts' cheeks. It's fine. We don't worry about it. Raiders, Steelers. I'm giving this one to the Steelers for the sole reason that it's at Pittsburgh. I have to give the Steelers the win there. Bengals at Bears. Bengals win again. 2-0 starts. If the Bears start Andy Dalton, it's a guaranteed win for the Bengals. If they start Justin Fields, it's a toss-up, but I still think that the Bengals win. Texans at Browns. Browns win. Easy. Texans, if they played the Jaguars, it's a fluke win. Saints and Panthers, I gotta go Saints here. Vikings and Cardinals, I think Cardinals. If Kyler Murray plays like he did this week, Cardinals win again. Falcons at Bucks win. Titans at Seahawks. I could see the Titans winning that, but it's at Seattle, and I gotta go Seahawks there. Especially if the Seahawks can contain Derrick Henry, then Seahawks will win. Cowboys at Chargers. Yeah, I already predicted this one. Chargers win. Chiefs at Ravens. Chiefs win. It's Mahomes versus Lamar, so everybody's gonna be. ESPN's gonna have a field day with this game because it's the two star quarterbacks of this day. Chiefs win that one pretty easily. Lions and Packers. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers plays like he did this week. Lions win. If Aaron Rodgers plays like Aaron Rodgers, then the Packers win. So, yeah. Quick run through this. So, winning this week. So, Washington, New England, Broncos, Bills, 49ers, Rams, Steelers, Bengals, Browns, Saints, Cardinals, Bucks, Seahawks, Chargers, Chiefs. And I'm going Lions. I'm going bold, saying Lions beating the Packers. That's my goal, MMG. You're going to like that one. I know you will. Yeah. Overall, let's look at the stats real quick for this week before we wrap up for the day. How we doing? Perfect. All right. So passing yards this week. Derek Carr, Dak Prescott, and Tom Brady leading the pack. 435 passing yards, 403 passing yards, and 379 passing yards respectively. All in all, let's see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 11 quarterbacks had over 300 passing yards week 1. That's pretty good. So some of the big names that had under 300 passing yards: Kyler Murray, Tyrod Taylor, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and what's his name? Jameis Winston. All had less than that. So, but they also had a lot of touchdown passes. So if we go there to touchdown passes, filter by touchdown passes, if it decides to. There we go. Jameis Winston had 5 touchdowns. Russell Wilson with 4. Kyler Murray with 4. Brady with 4. Then a bunch of quarterbacks with 3. Stafford, Dak, Patty Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Hurts, Jared Goff, all had 3 touchdown passes. Very good games there. Now we got to look at one of the rough stats, interceptions, because I want to see who had the most interceptions this week. I think the most was 3. I think it might be Trevor Lawrence actually had the most interceptions. So we will see if it ever decides to load. I know Brady had 2 interceptions. Trevor Lawrence had 3. Most other quarterbacks just had 1 or 0. From what I'm seeing, yeah, everybody else had 1 or 0. So yeah, Trevor Lawrence with the most interceptions this week. And then the most average yards, probably yards per attempt. Completion percentage. This is what I wanted to look at because this is going to be interesting. No. Other way. So, okay. I do need to go this way. I'm stupid. So, ignoring those guys. So, Russell Wilson completed 78% of his passes. Teddy Bridgewater, 78. Jalen Hurts, 77. Stafford, 77. Baker, 75. Mahomes, 75. And then there were a lot of quarterbacks over 70% passing this week. That's very good. And that might be average. I'm not 100% sure. But I can appreciate that for the quarterbacks this week. Looking very good. It's a good outlook for them. Real quick look through rushing and receiving before we get out of here. Mixon had the most rushing yards this week. There were only 5 running backs over 100 rushing yards this week. That's kind of low, I think. McCaffrey was close with 98. But Mixon, David Montgomery, Eli Mitchell, Melvin Gordon, and Damian Harris. Of all the running backs I expect over 100 yards, I don't think I expect any of those over 100 yards. Maybe Joe Mixon. But Kamara only had 83. Lamar Jackson with 86. That's hilarious. But Kamara 83. Dalvin Cook only 61. And Derrick Henry only 58. So, not a great week for star running backs this week. But receivers. Receivers had a lot of fun this week. So, So receiving yards, Tyreek Hill and Deebo Samuel led the way there, and it was a pretty big gap. Amari Cooper had over 100 receiving yards. A lot of receivers had over 100 yards. So yeah, biggest ones, Tyreek Hill 197, Samuel 189, Amari Cooper 139, Brandon Cooks 132, and Antonio Brown 121 receiving yards. Who had the most touchdowns? Anybody have more than 2? I don't think so. No. So Thielen, Pascal, Lockett, Christian Kirk, Kelsey, Jawan Johnson, D-Hop, Rob Gronkowski, Corey Davis, and Amari Cooper all had 2 touchdowns. So, when looking at fantasy next week, if you've got Gronk on your team, that's a good bet. If you've got Kelsey on your team, that's a good bet. Thielen on your team, that's a good bet. Hopkins on your team, that's a good bet. Darren Waller only had 1 touchdown, but looked really good, so I would say have him on your team if you can. DeAndre Swift, this was the Lions coming in. Swift is so much better than his stat line this week showed. Only 65 receiving yards and a touchdown. I would put him as a dark horse on your fantasy team. Maybe put him on your bench, see how he does. But yeah, that's week 1 of the NFL. I'll run through a couple quick playoff predictions, just to get you guys some thoughts about that. So what we've got here is conferences. So AFC North, Browns win the division there. AFC East, Bills win the division. South, Titans win the division. AFC West, Chiefs win the division. And then it's 2 other wildcard teams. I'm going to go with... this is a tough one. Who do I think is going to make the playoffs? I'm going to go bold. Say the wildcard teams are the Bengals and the Chargers. I know. I'm crazy. Bengals and Chargers is the wildcard teams, and then Browns, Bills, Titans, and Chiefs. That is my AFC playoff predictions. NFC North, I gotta go Packers win the division. I don't know. Packers win the division there. NFC East. If the Cowboys keep playing well, they'll win. Cowboys, Eagles, or Washington. Any of those could win the division. Right now, I'm gonna say Eagles. I don't like that though. I'm gonna say Cowboys. I'm just gonna say Cowboys could win the division. NFC South, Bucks win. NFC West, Rams win. And who else is gonna make the playoffs? I think it'll be the Saints and the Seahawks. I think that's what I'm gonna go with. Let me look real quick and see how many teams make the playoffs because I don't remember. 7 teams from each league. Okay. So I get 1 more for each. Okay. So, 1 more from the AFC is going to make the playoffs. I think is the Dolphins. So, Bengals, Dolphins, and Chargers are my 3 wildcard teams over here. And then Saints, Seahawks, and 49ers? The NFC West is tough this year. Either the 49ers or the Washington football team will be that 7th team for me. So, I guess, it's week 1. We'll see where things go. But that is my predictions for the playoffs. I gave you my predictions for next week and went over this week. So, yeah. Awesome start. Awesome first podcast. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. My goal right now is 1 weekly podcast to talk about the NFL, maybe talk about all things sports, but I also don't want to make it a super long podcast. I'm hoping to do a couple more. Might be able to do one on Thursday to do... Here's what I'm going to do. Thursday, I will probably do college football predictions for this weekend and maybe start talking about some wrestling. And then, of course, next Tuesday, I'll be back with an NFL review. Since my predictions are already out for the NFL this week, I'm not going to do another podcast about that. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening to the Sports and Stuff podcast. Subscribe if you enjoy. Check it out. The video podcast on my YouTube channel. Don't forget CH Gaming on YouTube. The CH are capitalized and then gaming's capitalized. So yeah, check it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have an awesome day. Peace out.